Hello everybody, today we're going to be learning about how to find the area of rectangles. This should be a review from elementary school. Make sure you have your paper out, your homework 11.2B, finding area of rectangles. We're going to start by looking at the first one here. First of all, I want to remind you the difference between perimeter and area. Remember that perimeter is actually the outside, kind of like the fence line of your shape. So I'm going to actually outline the perimeter here of this rectangle in blue. And then the area is kind of like your tiles inside of your house or on your floor. It's everything on the inside of your shape. So we're going to color the inside yellow. And what we're trying to find is the yellow part, or the area. Now again, we're talking about rectangles, and as a reminder, rectangles all have four sides and four right angles. That's what makes them special. They have all four right angles. And then the thing that makes them different from a square is that the widths are the same measure or congruent, and the lengths are the same measure or congruent. So it has two pairs of congruent sides, and those two pairs of congruent sides are also parallel to each other. So that's why a rectangle is also a parallelogram. Lots of good vocabulary to remember. So once we know that this is a rectangle, we can go ahead and write here the name of our shape is a rectangle. And then I can look at my formula chart, which you guys did a scavenger hunt on recently, and you should be pretty familiar with your formula chart now. And on the formula chart here it says rectangle, area is equal to the base times the height. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in on my paper here for formula chart, or formula from the chart. We have area is equal to base times height. Now how did I remember that was multiplication? Well, remember, when I don't see an operation symbol there, when I see just my two letters right next to each other, that indicates multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to remember that this means to multiply. Now we're going to go ahead and list the values that we need. For our base, it doesn't really matter on the rectangle what we use as the base or the height, but because of the way this rectangle is situated, I'm going to say the base is the 3 centimeters. Because it's kind of sitting on those 3 centimeters. And then the height is going to be the 9 centimeters that you see on the left here. Now, for the formula for area of a rectangle, all we need to do is multiply our base times our height. So we don't really need to follow the order of operations, but we do need to remember that we're going to multiply our base times our height. Okay, so multiply our base times our height. Now we're going to go ahead and substitute the information that we know into our formula. So that formula we had was area is equal to base times height, and now I'm going to substitute in the information I know. For B, or the base, we said we were going to use 3, so I'm going to go ahead and substitute in that 3 for the B. I'm going to go ahead and put a floating dot to remind myself that I'm going to end up multiplying that with the height. And what we chose for H, or the height, was 9 centimeters. So I have area equals 3 times 9. So let's go ahead and solve it now. Again, area is equal to 3 times 9, which is 27. So the area of this rectangle that we were looking at first is going to be 27 centimeters. And our units are going to be squared. We have to remember that we square our units when we are finding area, and the reason we square our units is because we multiplied two dimensions together. That's why we ended up getting the squared on our units. Okay, you're going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the notes page. It's just 3 more examples of finding the area of a rectangle. The next 2 are exactly like what we just did together. Just notice that, of course, the numbers and the units are changed. The 4th one is actually working backwards. You're going to be given the area, and you were only given one dimension. Okay, you can consider that the base or the height, whatever you want. You need to solve for the missing dimension. So just think of working backwards, and we'll go over it in class, but I want you to go ahead and try that on your own. Okay, please go ahead and rewatch the video if you need to. Make sure you have all the notes filled in and the rest of your problems worked out. See you tomorrow.